what's up guys, and welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, then welcome to our little corner of the internet. Today we're going to be watching a video titled America Changed Me and Europe Was Wrong. I have no idea what we're diving into, but without further ado, let's see what this video is about.
Europe lied to me about America, but not in the way you think. Because I didn't move here because I hated Germany. I moved here because I fell in love with an American. And 2 years later, I have to admit something that makes many of my old friends angry. Because the country I was taught to look down on made me more hopeful, more ambitious, and more free than I ever imagined. And that is uncomfortable. Because it means America was not the country I misunderstood. Maybe Europe made me misunderstand myself. And this year the timing is almost too perfect. America turns 250 years old. Happy birthday, USA! The World Cup is happening here, and right now Europeans are having the same moment I had 2 years ago. They arrive with jokes, they arrive with opinions, they arrive thinking they already understand America. And then normal America hits them in the face. Not Hollywood America, not political America, just normal America. And that is exactly what breaks the story Europe told. When I watch this World Cup tourists, I see myself 2 years ago. I see that moment where the America I was warned about disappeared. 2 years ago, on July 1st, I moved from Germany to the United States of America. And I did not just move countries. I moved from a culture of caution into a culture of courage. And I was not ready for what would do that to me. Because Germany gave me a lot. It gave me structure,
This sounds so enthusiastic.
discipline, education, a strong work ethic. And I'm very grateful for that. I am German. I still think like that in many ways. I still overanalyze things. I still want everything to be planned. I still get nervous when something is not organized. And sometimes I still look angry even when I'm having a great time. But Germany also gave me something I had to unlearn. A voice in my head that said, be careful, do not stand out, do not dream too big, do not be too proud, do not risk too much. And definitely do not say America might actually be amazing. That voice was not always loud. It sounded reasonable, it sounded mature, but slowly it made my world smaller. And I did not even notice it until I moved here. That is what Europe does to a lot of people. It does not crush your dreams dramatically, it just makes them feel embarrassing. You say you want to start something, people ask, why? You say you want to move somewhere, people ask, are you sure? You say you want to build a business, people explain the taxes. You say you want to start a YouTube channel. People say, who the hell is gonna watch that? And after hearing that long enough, you start...
That is so true. Like, that is so true. Because I remember when I started my YouTube channel, the first people to know were like, oh, but you have a job, right? Like, what are you doing? Kind of like, it's not gonna work, because I've tried YouTube for a long time. And I also got comments like, at some point, like, people are gonna stop watching you because they're gonna get bored of you, and you know, like, that's not gonna last forever, and blah 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 blah. Well, look at me go. Ooh. And this is not, yeah, some of you guys probably clocked that I didn't get a very good response from my ex relationship to this YouTube channel, but not only them, it was multiple people who were kind of and that goes on everything. If you're about to take a risk, you're about to move somewhere, they're like, why would you do that? Aren't you comfortable here? Like, that's a huge risk, and what if it doesn't work out? And like, what if you do this, and what if you do that? And then blah 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 blah. Have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? And then you have to do this, and then you have to do that, and that. It's just better to not do anything. Well, no.
doing it to yourself. You become your own German comment section in your head. That was me. And then I came to America. And America asked me questions I was not used to. Why not? Why not try? Why not build something? Why not start over? Why not you? These questions can change your life. Because in Europe people ask, who gave you permission? In America the question is, why haven't you started yet? That is a completely different culture. Europeans think America is loud because Americans are stupid. No, America is loud because America is still alive. Europeans think American optimism is fake. No, Maybe Europeans are just not used to people who still believe tomorrow can be better. And they also think American confidence is arrogant.
That's something that you guys probably wouldn't like know about me by watching my videos, but actually I've gotten a few like people say to me that I'm very pessimistic. I might be very pessimistic actually, which is, I don't know where I got it from. I wonder where. But, you know, like I need to change that. I need to start being more optimistic and less pessimistic because it's probably holding me back.
No, maybe they just forgot what courage looks like. And the first time I realized that America's right was not some huge patriotic moment. It was in a store. One of my first days here, I was still full in German mode. I was overthinking everything. Where do I stand? Am I in someone's way? Is my accent too strong? And then a random guy looked at me and said, "Hey man, how is it going?" And I froze because my German brain immediately thought, who's this person? Does he want money? Is this a scam? Or is he just messing with me? No, he was just being nice. That sounds like nothing, but when you come from a place where strangers often treat each other like obstacles, that little moment becomes a big moment. It's a culture shock. Europeans say American friendliness is fake. I used to think that too. Now I think that sentence says more about Europe than about America. Because if warmth feels fake to you, maybe you have lived too long without it. Sometimes a smile is just a smile. Sometimes small talk is just kindness. Sometimes a compliment is not fake. Sometimes people are just trying to make life a little less miserable. And slowly that changed me. I'm still German, so I will probably never become the guy who smiles for no reason all day long. But America made me warmer. I talk more to people now. I encourage people more. I say nice things when I think them. And that matters, because a country where strangers are friendly creates a different kind of a person. And a country where everyone is suspicious of friendliness also creates a very specific kind of person. That change did not stay small. It changed what I believed was possible. Before America, the idea of me having a YouTube channel was almost ridiculous. I started as a child. I'm an introvert. I'm not a natural performer. English is not my native language. I make a lot of mistakes. I have a very strong accent. And I started at an age where many people in Germany already think, okay, this is your life now. You have your job, you have your routine. Do not do anything too weird. Do not embarrass yourself. When I first talked about doing YouTube, the German reaction were exactly what you expect. Bad idea, too risky, nobody will watch that. And the most German reaction of all, what is the point? That sentence kills dreams. What is the point? The point is to try. The point is to grow. The point is to see what happens. The point is not to die inside before you are dead. But back then I actually believed in negativity. So I started in German first. And honestly, a lot of the feedback was negative. People corrected me, people judged me, people acted like I need permission to speak. And then I had this crazy thought, what if I do it in English? A German guy with a German accent talking to Americans about America. That should not work. At least according to the European mindset. But America does not care if something should work. America cares if you're willing to try. So I tried. And Americans watched. Americans subscribed. Americans commented. Americans told me, we like your perspective.
Mood. What's up to my fellow Americans there?
We like your honesty. We like seeing our country through your eyes. And we actually like your accent. And now this channel has over 20,000 subscribers. It might be still small, but to me it's actually
so
insane. Because America gave me permission to try before I was perfect. And this explains America better than almost anything else. Europe often wants you perfect before you're even allowed to try. Perfect education, perfect accent, perfect plan. America is different because it says start, build, fall down, try again. But then I noticed something bigger. America feels alive. Europe often feels like a museum with regulations. Beautiful, historic, interesting, very tired. And I know that sounds harsh, but I felt it in my own life. I had a good country, a good job, a safe environment. From the outside, everything looked stable, but inside it felt like my future had already been assigned to me. Like the path was already written. Like the best thing I could do was not to mess it up. America feels different. America feels different from the beginning. America feels unfinished, and that is the magic. America is still being built. That is why everything is loud. That is why people argue so much. That is why people move across the country and start businesses, take risks, fail and try again. Europe looks at that and says, how embarrassing. America looks at that and says, at least he tried, and that difference changed me. And it also changed how I see freedom. In Germany, I always felt like freedom came with a warning label. You can speak your mind, but be careful. You can question things.
This is probably gonna be a cultural shock. I feel like, yeah, that's like, here it's a lot of regulate, like, you can't be too much. And in America, I think you can. But here, you gotta kind of stay in your lane,
But be careful. And after a while, you start censoring yourself, because freedom is not only what is written on paper. Freedom is also what the culture allows you to feel brave enough to do. Germany taught me freedom with a warning label. America taught me freedom with responsibility. And responsibility can be very uncomfortable, because freedom means you cannot always blame the state. You cannot always blame society. You have to choose. You have to risk. You have to live with the consequences. That changed me. In Germany, I was used to thinking the state should handle everything. The state regulates, the state protects, the state decides. And of course, there's comfort in that. But that comfort can become a cage. You pay huge taxes, you follow endless rules, you trust the system, and then one day you wake up and realize the system is not building your dream. It is managing your decline. America made me see that. I do not want a life that's perfectly managed. I want a life that is actually mine. Europeans love to feel superior to America because it makes them feel sophisticated. But
Great way to put it.
after living here, I realized that a lot of that superiority is insecurity. Because deep down, many Europeans know America still has something Europe is losing. Energy, confidence, ambition, belief, the feeling that the future is still open. Before I came here, I also thought maybe the best times were behind us. You work, you pay tax, you complain, you watch things get worse, you call it realism, and then you get older and you think,
Is that not life? Is that not what it is?
that is just how it is. But America made me dream again. And I know many people will say, that sounds naive. But I think it's the opposite. I think giving up and calling it intelligence is the real stupidity. Optimism is not childish. Optimism is fuel. A country without optimism slowly dies. And America, even after 250 years, still has that fuel. That is unbelievable. But the most unexpected change for me was patriotism. Growing up in Germany, patriotism is not normal. You are taught to be careful with national pride. You are taught to be suspicious of that. Taught that loving your country too openly is dangerous. And that does something to you. It creates distance between you and your own home. You can love German food.
That's true as well. Kind of like here, for example, if you're very patriotist, you've like kind of seen like the weird one, like, like it's odd if you're like too patriotic, if that makes sense.
Food, German cars, German efficiency, and German soccer. But loving Germany itself, that is almost forbidden. Then I came to America and I saw flags everywhere. At first I couldn't process it. I thought, wow, Americans really love America. But the longer I lived here, the more I understood the flags here is not just decoration, it's a reminder that this country was built by people who believe freedom was worth the risk. A reminder that a nation needs pride to survive. A reminder that gratitude matters. I still remember my first real 4th of July here. People were wearing red, white and blue, flags everywhere, families were together, fireworks at night. Everyone just openly celebrated their country. And my first German instinct was, is this too much? But then I looked around and thought, no, maybe this is what a healthy country does. It remembers that it is worth celebrating. That hit me, and strangely, America made me proud of Germany again. Because when
He talks so well that it just almost made me cry, man. But to make a grown man cry, I'm not a man. That's another thing that I don't know why recently some people ask if I'm trans. I'm not. I'm a girl. Being a girl. I was born with I forgot this is YouTube and not Twitch. Okay, let's continue.
so Americans love their country openly, I started asking myself, why am I not allowed to love mine? Germany has great things, great inventors, great thinkers, great engineering, great culture, and I am German and I always will be German. But America showed me that loving where you come from does not mean you hate anyone else. It means you are grateful. Now my life is both German roots, American dream. That is why I want to fly both flags in front of my house. The German flag and the American flag. And soon my son will be born here, a first-generation American. with a German father, and I will teach him to love America. Not in a fake way, in a real way. I want him to understand that this country is not normal. It is not normal to have this much freedom, this much opportunity, this much confidence, this much kindness from strangers, this much belief that tomorrow can be bigger than yesterday. Many people are born into that and never notice it. I had to cross an ocean to see it. And maybe that is why Americans' 250th birthday means so much to me. Because I was not born into this story. I choose it. And yes,
I'm gonna start crying. Stop it.
America also changed me in funny ways. I now need ice in my water. I love AC. I got your stores where you can buy almost everything. But the biggest change is not the ice, not the AC, not the grocery store. The biggest change is that America made me less afraid of my own life. That is the real story. Germany gave me roots. America gave me wings. Germany taught me structure. America taught me courage. Germany taught me caution. America taught me movement. Germany taught me to think about what people might say. America taught me to think about what I actually want to do. That is what America changed. It made me want more responsibility, more risk, more life. And on July 4th, when Americans celebrate independence, I think about that word differently. Independence is not just a historical event. Independence is a mindset. It is saying, my life is not supposed to be controlled by fear. That is what America gave me. America is not loved because it is perfect. America is loved because it is possible. That is the word. Possible. In America, things still feel possible. You can arrive with an accent. You can start late. You can fail. You can change careers. You can build something weird. You can reinvent yourself. You can be nobody and still become somebody. That is why people keep coming. That is why people keep copying America while pretending to hate it. Because deep down, everyone knows this country still represents something powerful. The chance to become something new. That is what happened to me. 2 years ago, I arrived here from Germany. I thought I was just moving to my wife's country. I thought I would learn the culture, adjust to the food, get used to the weather, maybe improve my English. But America did something much bigger. It changed my personality. It made me more open, more hopeful, more ambitious, more grateful, more patriotic, more willing to speak and more willing to fail. And this is why I say, America did not brainwash me. America unbrainwashed me. America gave me back something I did not even know I had lost. The belief that my life still can become bigger. So on America's 250th birthday, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for changing me. Thank you for challenging me. Thank you for welcoming me. Thank you for making me braver. I came here as a German. I'm still German, but I'm not the same man who arrived here 2 years ago. America changed me, and I thank God that it did.
What a sweet, sweet, sweet guy. And what a beautiful video. What a beautiful way to express himself and explain and talk. I am speechless. I thought that was beautiful, and I'm glad that he's doing very well there. And I don't know, that was beautiful, guys. I really enjoyed watching that. I hope you did too, and thank you for joining me for this video. Obviously, this makes me want to visit America so much more. Guys, please leave a like, subscribe if you haven't yet, and I'll see you guys in the next video.